Hello, everyone. This time, we'll learn a highly creative and practical technique, how to create color variation videos. It's an animation where a single t-shirt changes colors one after another. It's perfect for e-commerce sites, product introductions, brand catalog videos, and portfolios. First, open the t-shirt you created in Marvelous Designer. Since we're only exporting the t-shirt this time, delete the avatar. In Fabric, change the base color to create each color variation. Create around 3 colors using your preferred shades. Export the t-shirt as an FBX file. For export settings, check Single Object, Thick, and Unified UV Coordinates. Set the image size to 4096 for high resolution. Uncheck all map options since we'll export them separately later. Now, let's configure the settings. Set file type to binary and FBX SDK version to 2020. Set scale to meters and texture to embed media. Then click Export. Next, export the texture images for each color. Open the UV editor and click the Bake Texture button. A dialog box will appear. In this dialog, specify the saving path for your save location and set size pixels to 4096. Check the texture type boxes for the required textures. This time check diffuse and normal, then press save to export them. Repeat this process for each color. Once you've finished working in Marvelous Designer, move to Blender and import the FBX file. Click the Shading tab at the top of the screen. Delete the 2 existing materials by clicking the minus button in Material Properties. To add a new material, click the New button and add 1 new material. The Principled BSDF and Material Output nodes will appear. With the Principled BSDF node selected, press Ctrl, Shift, and T at the same time. The file browser will open. Locate the first color's texture files. Select both Diffuse and Normal. Then click Principled Texture Setup. This will automatically connect them to the Principled BSDF node. Next, load the second and third color textures. Duplicate the Principled BSDF node using Shift+D. Select the duplicated Principled BSDF node. Then press Ctrl, Shift, and T again. This time select and open the second color's texture files. Follow the same steps to load the third color's texture. You now have 3 Principled BSDF nodes. Next, we'll enable color switching. We'll mix the first and second colors. Press Shift and A, then add a mix shader from the shader menu. Now connect the first and second colors, Principled BSDF nodes to it. Try changing the factor value on the mix shader node. When factor is 0, the node connected to the top input of the mix shader is displayed. When factor is 1, the node connected to the bottom input is displayed. This allows you to switch colors. Next, add another mix shader node to switch the third color as well. Here, we'll use a handy shortcut. This shortcut is available when the Node Wrangler add-on is enabled. Hover your mouse over the Mix Shader node. Hold down Ctrl and Shift, then right-click. While holding these keys, drag to the third Principled BSDF node and release. This will automatically create and connect a new Mix Shader node. Now you can control the color using the factor value in the Mix Shader. Now let's create an animation where the color changes over time. Switch to the Layout screen, split the viewport, and change the left viewport to Shader Editor. set the end of the timeline to 300. Then, in Output Properties, set the frame rate to 30 frames per second. Let's set the display timing for each color. Frames 1 to 100 will show the first color. Frames 100 to 200 will show the second color, and frames 200 to 300 will show the third color. Move the timeline to frame 1 and set the factor of both mix shader components to 0. Hover your mouse over the factor value and press the I key to insert a keyframe. Insert keyframes for the factor of both mix shader instances. Next, move to frame 80. This is just before the color change. Here, press the I key again to insert a keyframe. Move the timeline to frame 100 and switch to the second color. Set the factor of the upper mix shader to 1 and insert a keyframe. Keep the factor of the lower mix shader at 0 and insert a keyframe. Move to frame 180, just before the next color change. Press the I key to insert a keyframe. Move the timeline to frame 200 and switch to the third color. Set the factor of the lower mix shader to 1 and insert a keyframe. Keep the factor of the upper mix shader at 1 and insert a keyframe. Move to frame 280 just before the color changes. Press the I key to insert a keyframe. Move the timeline to frame 300 to return to the first color. Set the factor of the upper mix shader to 0 and insert a keyframe. Set the factor of the lower mix shader to 0 and insert a keyframe. Press the spacebar to play the animation. You should now see the colors transitioning smoothly from one to another. If you change the background color and lighting along with the t-shirt color, it creates a much more striking and professional effect. You can also combine this with the turntable animation you learned in the previous lecture. Once your animation is complete, render it as a video using the method you learned in the previous lecture.